A man who does nothing better than eat and drink finds satisfaction in his work. This too I see from the hands of God. Without him, you cannot enjoy your food. So by that point, I want to bless you all and thank you for today, and keep the spirit of love and food going.
All of this dovetails nicely with activities to mark St. Lucia's 40th anniversary of independence. As I mentioned earlier on, we're still in the month of February, and the government did announce that activities will run throughout the entire year. Of course, the theme is All In, Our Journey, Our Future. And again, our activity falls in place nicely. Why exactly are we here this morning? It is simple. It is because the St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association has seen the need to ensure that St. Lucia firmly anchors its place and its position with regards to the culinary industry. Indeed, a multi-billion-dollar industry around the world, and one that holds tremendous potential for us to tap into. You, our participants, are the key towards ensuring that we reap maximum success in that business. And so, the SLHTA, for years, well over 2 decades to be in fact, has teamed up with the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association in ensuring that we are always a part of Taste of the Caribbean. And what have we yielded over the years by being a part of this? Many, many things, actually. You see, in 2003, we won the Caribbean Chef of the Year. In 2010, we won the Caribbean Bartender of the Year. In 2015, the Caribbean Junior Chef of the Year. There are more accolades, but it's not my role to tell you all about it. I guarantee you, at the end of the program, you will hear a lot as to why it is, as a destination, we're involved in this. You will hear what are the benefits to be accrued to St. Lucia, and fundamentally, you will hear how you can continue to play your part in ensuring that we remain at the forefront.
This is indeed a very special moment, as John has already said, in our time as we celebrate as people and as a country our 40th anniversary of independence, under the theme All In, Our Journey, Our Future. And for the St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association, what a journey it has been for us. But just like for our country, we see our future as being very bright and full of exciting possibilities and opportunities, and that includes our culinary future, thanks to you. As we pave the way for our future food and beverage professionals, we take pleasure in celebrating the excellence of our chefs who stepped up to the plate, literally, and cooked their hearts out at our competitions over the past few weeks. In this year's competition, the SLHTA team have outdone themselves to ensure that every chef would get an equal opportunity to represent their restaurant or hotel, so that based on their success, they could represent St. Lucia at the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association's Taste of the Caribbean competition. As you probably know, Taste of the Caribbean is the region's premier culinary competition, food and beverage educational exchange, and Caribbean cultural showcase. Since 1993, the Caribbean's best chefs and culinary teams unite at Taste of the Caribbean to compete, to demonstrate their skills, learn from each other, and offer the general public a magnificent exhibition of the most delectable culinary treats of the islands. Taste of the Caribbean also provides a forum for food and beverage professionals to gather practical information, develop skills, sample and purchase, strengthen and establish supplier relationships, and meeting new vendors. Having been the president of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association for a period of almost 3 years, I have nothing but the greatest respect for the culinary teams that I have encountered in these competitions over the years, and the tremendous potential and skills that these teams have showcased. With the rise of social media, a picture on Instagram or Facebook of a beautiful dish has the potential to attract as much attention and interest in our destinations as, for example, a picture of our Piton Mountains. And this is why I consider all chefs, whether they're going to be part of the national culinary team or not, very important ambassadors for St. Lucia and for the Caribbean at large. Just as our visitors will remember and talk about their beautiful hotel suite, our beautiful beaches, you have the potential to ensure that they will also remember and talk about special cocktails and special meals that they enjoyed during their holidays, whether they talk to their friends at home about this, whether they show their photos to these friends, or whether they post them on social media. As an association, we say thank you to all those chefs and bartenders who have represented St. Lucia at previous Taste of Caribbean events. And also, some of these chefs have been inspired to give back to schools around the island through our Chefs in School program, which we have been very proud of over the last few years. And as a result of their commitment to this program, 5 of those junior chefs who benefited from the program a few years back have competed and now are working in the industry. Are these chefs here by any chance? They're not here, they're working. Good. This in itself is also testament to the growth and interest in the Chefs in School program. This year, the SLHTA has decided to increase the numbers of schools that are competing at a local competition to 10 schools, which means that 2 students from each school will be assigned to a hotel to receive training and prepare them for the Chefs in School cook-off. And you are all invited to partner with us on this initiative. Shifting our focus back to this occasion today, I would like to thank you immensely for participating in this year's event and encourage each of you to continue developing yourself and your skills as professionals. The Board of Directors of the SLHTA is committed to this event and your ongoing development. We want to help you further develop your skills with training initiatives throughout the year, and we would like to hear from you what your special interests are so that we can design training initiatives around your very specific requirements. For those of you who will be selected for this year's National Culinary Team, let me congratulate you in advance. And those of you who weren't as successful, please don't give up. You could become part of our selection in the next 12 months. Remember that whether you are on the team or not, you are still part of our country's important culinary ambassadors, and you are all my culinary heroes.
We move speedily down along with the program. We come to the part for the awards or presentation to the 2018 National Culinary Team.
We've had 4 days of competition filled with lots of anxiety, excitement, passion, fun, enthusiasm, courage, camaraderie, and also love. I was very inspired as a chef to be with you guys for those 4 days, and for that I say we give ourselves a round of applause. The SLHTA Culinary Committee, along with its partners and sponsors, worked very hard in the preparation and execution of this competition with 2 main objectives in mind. One is to establish the new 2019 SLHTA Culinary Team for St. Lucia, and 2, which I think is most important for us, is to be able to evaluate the level of our culinary professionals on the island. We wanted this competition to have a purpose, to have a meaning, and this is why we decided to make our judging criteria so meticulous and so detailed. Of course, without our judging panel, all of this would have been in vain. So it's at this point I would like to invite all of the people who came out, chefs that came out and helped us to judge this competition, to come up to the stage for us to pay our respects and to say thank you. I'm sure most of you all who competed in the competition would have been at the launching to hear me talk about the judging criteria, and I would just like to run through it again so you understand how we judged you all, and you could reflect on yourself and be honest and see. You could even score your own self because you knew what you did on that day, and therefore you should understand how you should score in those different areas. We had 3 different judges. We had a floor judge, and the floor judge dealt with execution, which is mise en place and kitchen organization, right? That was 1. We had the fundamentals, which is cooking techniques and culinary skills. We had efficiency, which was proper use of ingredients, looking at your wastage and your leftovers and so on. That is very important for the business, as you know. And then we had timeliness, how long you took to plate your food and to get your food ready to go to your guest. It was the judges, but pretend you're in your restaurant and your guest is waiting to get their meals. That was your floor judging. Then we had the tasting judges who looked at your menu and they look at the accuracy of your menu. Then you had creativity and presentation. You had portion size, nutritional balance, Caribbean identity, taste, texture, and flavor, and then food temperature. That was your tasting judge. And then we had hygiene and food safety, one that we always take for granted, but is one that is so important and critical for the success of any restaurant. So we made it a very big deal in this competition that we looked very closely of how you handled yourself and performed in the areas of hygiene and food safety. Now, just so you understand how it worked, in total there's 100% that you have to make. The floor judges, that sheet alone accounted for 35% of your points. 35% of your points. Now, I'll bring it together and let you know. If you were to take the hygiene and food safety, and you were to take the floor judges, which is the judges who were walking around at every given second on the floor to see how you were performing on the floors, they accounted for more than 50% of your points. So most chefs who goes to competition, what happens is they go to the competition with the idea that if I do something that tastes really good and looks really good, I win the competition. That is what I said to you all in the launching, and that is what I want to remind you all. That is not what makes you win a competition, nor run a successful business. And that is what we are trying to achieve when we do this competition at SLHTA. We want to be able to make chefs become business people. Understand what it takes to make a business successful, right? What you put into the bin is profits going down the drain. When you're inconsistent, people stop coming back to your restaurant. If you don't practice hygiene, you stand the risk of food poisoning, which brings an island down in one day, an entire island, not just your restaurant. So that is what I want you all to take away from this. And remember, because when we went to Miami, one of the head judges said to me that often when you go to a competition, if you don't win, you walk away and you don't care too much to hear what the judges have to say. You will never win a competition. Listen to what the judges have to say and take it into consideration and use it as a tool for when you go to compete again. And not only for when you compete, but when you go back to your own workplace, practice the right thing. So when you go to the competition, you're not now only struggling to try to figure out, how can I learn all these new things? Practice it every day. Proper hygiene practices, proper costing of your food and wastage and all of these things that cost the company so much money. My observation in the competition is that I saw a lot of very passionate people who understands very well our Caribbean ingredients. I would say that some of us was a little bit too ambitious based on the time that was given to execute your dishes. So what I guess you had in mind, you could not execute it. Now, that's fine. That's fine. The only thing is you have to learn from your mistakes, right? Every single one of us who performed started off very strong and ended up a little bit weak because the hour and a half was much less than you thought. And when you want to do dishes that involve so much different elements and so much different steps, you either need more manpower or you maybe need a larger kitchen. Well, that wasn't the case. We told you all that. You have to be smart as a chef. And when you go into a situation as a chef, don't blame the equipment and blame everything else. Blame yourself. You're the chef. You design your menu. You make what you want. But do it in an hour and a half. Right? So I think that is where I saw most of the shortcomings of all of the chefs who competed. I think we, went a little bit overboard in what you were trying to do. Another thing I would say to you is that when you're plating a dish, you have to think about the amount of steps that you take to putting down food onto a dish, right? If you have 4 dishes and each dish takes 10 steps, can you imagine the amount of time you will take to plate that 4 dishes? Your food will get cold and you will go overtime and you will lose points. So at the end of the day, all that hard work was gone in vain. Take that into consideration. I don't want to say to simplify because you have to bring a level of technicality, but be very smart in how you do that. That is what we are there for. We are chefs and we are creative people. We are considered artists. We have to be smart and we have to think about what we are doing. And with that being said, I would like to thank all of you all for coming here today and all of you all for competing. I was very happy to see the turnout. I was very happy when I in the 4 days of the competition, that level of excitement and enthusiasm I saw, it was very encouraging to me. So I thank you all, and I wish you all best of luck. Thank you very much.
We've gotten to the phase where it's time for the presentation of medals and certificates to all of the competitors.
I believe that this competition was fair, was judged properly, and those persons who won in their own right. So at this present moment, starting off in the junior chef category, the individual who will represent St. Lucia at Taste of the Caribbean 2019 in the junior chef category is none other than Zaim Kadeh of Cap Maison. The individual who will be on the B team in this category is none other than Gabriel James from Jade Mountain. The chef who will represent St. Lucia in the seafood competition come Taste of the Caribbean 2019 will be Chef Ricardo from the Harbour Club. And the chef who comes in second place, just below the 1 point difference, is Chef Danny Mand from the East Winds Hotel. In the beef competition, the chef who represents St. Lucia at the Taste of the Caribbean competition 2019 will be none other than Chef Venance Dor of the Big Chef Steakhouse. The individual who comes in second behind Venance is less than 1 point, well, it's actually 0.04, is none other than Chef Chauvin Elitaire from Windjammer Landing. Moving on to the Chef of the Year competition, and the chef who will represent St. Lucia in this category is none other than Chef Clayton Julian from Sandals Le Top. The chef who comes in second place with about 1 point difference, again, is Chef Warner Alexander from the Marigot Bay Hotel. And the chef who will represent St. Lucia in the pastry competition will be none other than Chef Imani Hippolyte of Jade Mountain. The chef who comes in second place is none other than Vadili Byron of the Windjammer Landing. In the chocolate category, and the chef who will represent the island in Miami for Taste of the Caribbean 2019 is none other than Steffi Marius of the St. James Club, Morgan Bay. And the chef who comes in second place, I think it was about a point or two, about a point, yeah, very, very close, maybe less than a point, was
Chef Marius Andrew from the Sanders Talk Regency Hotel.
I would like to thank, first of all, each and every individual who participate in this competition. It will be amazing experience for everyone, and especially we saw a lot of good skills. Also, we saw a lot of who did this competition. They absolutely had good techniques, and every individual had their unique cooking skills. It was really amazing, and especially for chocolatier, I must say they have two chefs really work good techniques for chocolates.
Ashton Jamari and Chef Imani, please come forward.
All the best. Yeah. Okay, come on. Yeah, good job. Okay. Yeah, chef.
The bartender who will join the St. Lucia Culinary Team for 2019, Craig Andis from the Sanders Grand St. Lucian's Palm Beach Resort. Bartender on the B team will be from the Coco Resort, Coco Palm, is Aldrich Jebatis.
I think that brings us to the end of our medals and awards. I would just like to give you a little detail about our A and B team. It is something that we've decided to do this year, first time, and we think it was absolutely necessary because naturally, when you're practicing to go to Miami, if something should go wrong with someone for whatever reason, for you to try to get somebody to start from scratch, it's almost difficult or impossible. So we decided that if we have a B team, our B team will be in all of our training programs, so they themselves will be already prepped, just in case they have to take the position of our A team, and if finances suit us well, they may be able to make the trip to Miami. I'm not promising anything. But again, the B team is very important, equally important as the A team, and therefore the participation of that B team is very much the same as our A team. It's to be able to develop them and get them ready for the years to come.
So in the spirit of the moment, I will personally take over the costs of one of the B team members to fly to Miami, okay? So
see, there we go. There we go. So thank you all. Thank you very much. I hope that you all were very content with our verdict.
Shalom to everybody in attendance and everybody who made it possible. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to those who made all of this possible for us chefs. As you know, in the small island of St. Lucia, there's not much going on to push for our young talents. And growing up, there were few people on the island to emulate. Some of them are sitting at this table right now. We have Chef Orlando, Chef Robbie, Chef Nico. Those were some of the guys you had to look up to coming up in the business. So I just wanted to encourage everybody who's in attendance today at least to share that love for the generation that's coming. Push them forward, share your skills, share your knowledge in order to push this culinary movement and make St. Lucia a powerhouse in the industry.
I've been involved in St. Lucia now 20 years, and my vision has always been, as a chef in St. Lucia, is how do we showcase Caribbean cuisine? How do we move it forward? I think this year is a testimony to what we got plans, what St. Lucia can be, where cuisine can go forward, where we can get our young entrepreneurs, young chefs to become the executives, to become the owners of business, to become responsible for their businesses. I think ultimately this competition is really an opportunity to showcase what we can do with creativity, with opportunity and presentation. And I think before I give my vote of thanks, can we give everybody a round of applause, please? I think you guys deserve a great job. Okay, so to say thank you, obviously this idea is obviously with the help of SLHTA. This is really our biggest opportunity to promote, and our directors being a big push in making sure culinary becomes a big conversation in St. Lucia. So, I mean, first and foremost, SLHTA. Of course, the TFF, who obviously is a big contributor to this event, as you all know. That's really a big push, and again, we need to make sure that's recognized. Lucia, like anything else, it's all about, electricity, so one of our major sponsors there. Beacon Insurance, St. Lucian Tourist Authority, Crown Food, CPJ, Trans-Caribbean, Massey Store, Bank of St. Lucia. I think also a massive thanks to all the hotels and restaurants who have allowed their staff to come and contribute and partake. I think we need to make sure they get a big thank you, because, I mean, they're allowing the guys to come in to take time off, come out, give their own expression, So I think that's a really big thank you to the hotels and restaurants. A massive thank you to Arbor Club, to hosting us here today. I mean, we're definitely looking forward to come back and do it again every year. Some people don't get recognized. A lot of chefs have been around for a while, but I'm actually giving a big shout out to somebody who I know a long time, Chef Robbie. You don't know him, but just give him a round of applause. If you don't know him, you should get to know him, because he's a big part of the in-school programs. A lot of us, you guys come from school, it takes the chefs to go and support. You might find the chefs in the hotels, but when you run your own business, it's a challenge to leave your business to go and support everybody else. As I know myself, I run my own business, so I appreciate the challenge we all face. So again, Chef Robbie, I've known you near 20 years now. I want to say thank you for your contribution to culinary, and of course, our plans going forward. On that note, I think, did I forget anybody? I'm sure I got everybody there. The directors, the few directors over here. Oh my goodness, how can I forget my super guy? The cameraman. Mr. Cameraman, we need to big you up. Okay, the bigger man, super. But of course, before he runs away, don't run away, Wendell. Please, Wendell, do not run away. Mr. Wendell George, as we all know. Come up, please, Wendell. As you know, it's always good to say the best to last. So, Mr. Wendell is not a chef. He's not a waiter. He's not even a cook in the kitchen. But you know what? He's an inspiration to us as culinary. All you guys see him come around to the schools. He comes to the hotels. He put pressure on you. He call our sponsors. And of course, he's been pushing this forward. This year, we've done it this year. We're going to do better next year. And of course, we want to make St. Lucia a culinary destination. And you guys are the future to make St. Lucia a culinary destination. I won't say good luck, because good luck means you can have bad luck. Having faith will allow you to deliver the positive information. Thank you so much.
Put a little more focus on our new St. Lucia Culinary Team logo. Was done by the Concept Factory. Yeah. Ronnie from the Wave. Is he around? RCI. This will be the official logo that goes on every St. Lucia Culinary Team activity, and this will go worldwide. All right. So thank you so much for coming on board as a sponsor, Ronnie, and great job again. Chef Zaim, congratulations to you, buddy. I know it's been a long time since you've been trying to come on the St. Lucia Culinary Team. I remember 2 years ago you came to try out. You were not successful. I know you've been involved in the Chefs in Schools program in 2014. So you've always been involved in culinary arts with the SLHTA. How do you feel now that you've won your place as a junior chef on the culinary team?
Well, right now I feel happy. Basically, I feel happy. I feel a joy inside me, just knowing that I can make it on the team. And I'm not just making it for myself, but for those who couldn't make it, and for those who are out there and don't have the opportunity that I have to be able to cook and to be able to get a job. So that is what that's what it is for me.
Okay, so I know you're feeling really excited right now, and you're probably a bit nervous too.
Yeah.
You know, even after they've already announced that you're the junior chef on the team this year. Did you ever imagine yourself being on the culinary team? And what did you do to really ensure that you make the team this year?
Well, I always had a picture in my mind that I would someday represent my country, but then it's been a long journey, a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours. It will have been training, a lot of training. You know, my executive chef Craig, he trained me, coached me, helped me. A lot of flavor building up, a lot of, just a long process heading into the competition. And I went to the competition comfortably, and I was able to use and execute what I had, basically.
Well, that's really, really good, buddy. What advice would you give to any young person out there who is probably thinking about what career path to choose? How would you advise young persons out there who are probably out of a job and looking for something to do?
Well, first of all, I'd advise them to stay focused and be true to who you are. Stay focused and know what you want to do, Be something positive and not something negative. We have so much negative going on around in our community nowadays, and it's, so just be true to yourself and know what you want to do. If you want to cook, stay focused, hard work. Hard work will pay off. The hard work will pay off at the end. It could be 5 years, 10 years after, it will pay off. Just stay focused, stay positive, and just continue training. No matter how many blows you get, you will be victorious at the end.
Chef Venance, it's been a while. You've been trying to make this St. Lucia culinary team. How do you feel right now?
Well, as they say with wine, the more it ages, the better it gets. And I just want to say congratulations to not just me, but to everybody who participated, because it's been a journey for everybody to actually make the culinary team. It's been difficult. As you say, I was battling from 2000 and probably 16 it was. I battled with Edna, and I battled with Nisa, and then I battle again now with Chauvin. And then I must say I have gotten better in the flavor profile. I took the advice of the judges and those that went up, the reefers, the Odines, the Scots. They always spoke to me and tell me what I should do and what I'm doing wrong. And I take the advice. I'm just happy that I made the team, especially I make the team with Maki. Because Maki and I go way back from Cap Mesa days. But I'm just happy that I make the team, man.
That's good. Well, I want to congratulate you again. So tell me, you've been doing the Chefs in Schools program with us. You've been going out to the various schools around the island. You've been trying to inspire and help train young people into culinary arts. Why do you do it?
Well, honestly, I do it because it was done for me. I was not in the schools program, but then when I started cooking, I was mentored by the greats. Those who knew about food, those who understand food, and they gave back to me. And nobody questioned why should they give back to me. They just gave back to me graciously, teaching me the sauces, teaching me how to do purees, how to do pastry, everything. They gave back to me, so I feel that I should do the same and give back to the younger generation that's coming up after me. So the culinary arts will grow in St. Lucia and will get better.
So Chef Imani Hippolyte, all the way from Soufrière.
Yeah.
How do you feel knowing that you've been selected for the 2019 culinary team?
I'm extremely excited but really overwhelmed with a number of emotions, because honestly I was my biggest critique. Nobody could have judged me harder than I judged myself. So coming here today and seeing that I won, I couldn't even stay in my seat. But knowing that I won, I haven't really won, but I still won. I'm happy and I'm excited, and I can't wait to see what's left in store for me.
So how long have you been employed as a chef or as maybe a chocolatier or whatever they call it? How long have you been employed within that field?
I've been working at Jade Mountain as a pastry cook for 3 years, and I did the chocolate lab off and on within a year. So 3 years total. Throughout the years, dropping off and on in the chocolate lab. I wasn't really a standard chocolate lab assistant or anything, but whenever they needed me, I would go. Anywhere they wanted me to fit in, I would go, and I guess it paid off today.
Definitely. All right, awesome. So tell St. Lucia, in fact, and your people from the Soufrière area, what would they expect from you now that you've been selected on the team come Taste of the Caribbean competition in Miami in June? What should they expect from you?
Expect a lot of passion that you've never seen before, because I do have a lot to offer. Even if I might seem like I don't, I do have a lot to offer. I'm a very simple chef, but even if I'm a simple chef, you can see my love in my food. And just expect a whole ball of passion and excitement and just positivity, because going in this last competition, I was so not positive. I wasn't positive at all. But this time, I'm going to give myself the credit that I deserve.
You know, we went to SLHTA within the same years. It's really, really good to have you on the team this year as our chocolate chef. I know you're really excited, but tell us how you really feel from the moment you heard about the competition, getting into the competition and knowing that you just won. How do you feel about that?
Okay, from the beginning, I was skeptical of joining because I've never done competition before. But my chef urged me. I guess he saw something in me. And I think it's a good thing to have a competition so that St. Lucians can enter. And second part, I was not 100% confident that I would win because I was the youngest of the competitors. And I was surprised when I actually won. But I'm happy that I did so that I can learn more stuff and I can show what I have to offer.
So, Chef Steffi, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you're from, you know, and what's your passion, you know, what do you enjoy doing on your spare time? Just to let St. Lucians know who Steffi is, and not just as a chef, but who she really is, if you don't mind sharing.
Sure. As a person, you know, I enjoy staying home. I love to read, and you can say I love movies as well. I love going online and looking at stuff I can try at work in my spare time as well. And I also encourage my co-workers to do the same. We would brainstorm ideas and we'll come together at work and try new things.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Chef Steffi, and congratulations to you. Chef Clayton Julian, finally, after so many years of trying for the St. Lucia Culinary Team, how do you feel?
Oh, well, I'm a bit ecstatic about this whole movement right now. As I mentioned before, I used to take part with the children because my passion is mostly molding the young ones and pushing them forward. Yeah, so it's a real honor right now to be part of the culinary team.
So now that you're on the team, what can your family members, St. Lucians, your hotel, your co-workers, staff, what can they expect from you this year since you've made the team?
Yeah, well, anybody who knows me knows I'm a bit over the top. You know, I bring everything except the kitchen sink, and I represent. So they could expect me to be representing this time.
Yes. Awesome. I mean, when I saw you come out, you came out in full force. You came out with all your equipment I've never seen. You know, stuff that was actually new to me. And I was wondering, like, is this guy serious? You know, this is like a simple competition, but he came all out. So, I mean, why?
Okay, the answer to that, Wendell, was you. Because one day I was just scrolling through my WhatsApp and then you posted that question out there. Which hotel has the best chefs? So, like I mentioned, anybody who knows me knows I'm an over-the-top kind of guy. So, I came here to answer that question. Yeah, and I was represented for my hotel to say that Sandals have the best chefs. Yeah?
That's interesting, but that's debatable as well.
That's debatable. But,
yeah.
You know, I wanted to answer that question, and I think I answered the question. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Chef, congratulations to you, and well done. All right.
I'd like to take this time as well to thank you for what you've been doing with the schools, because I believe we have the same motive, and I'm very passionate about what it is that you're passionate about, which is developing our young ones, because they are the generation that's coming up after us. Yes. And I just want to say it's an honor working with somebody like you.
Definitely. Well, we have Chef Ricardo here, who has won his place on the St. Lucia Culinary Team for 2019 in the seafood category. Chef Ricardo, how do you feel?
Surprised, and I'm happy. First time I joined the competition. I don't know what I feel right now, but I'm excited to go Miami and bring home the bacon.
I know you've been in St. Lucia a while now, for a few years now. 11 years, wow. So You're basically a St. Lucian, huh?
Without the papers.
Without a St. Lucian without the papers. All right. You're now employed with the Harbour Club. Harbour Club is new to St. Lucia. They've been there only a few years. They're expecting you to come really, really good when you go to Miami. What can they expect from you when you go to Miami?
I will do the best I can. I will prove that I have some techniques that I will incorporate with local products, Caribbean in general, and I'll try to execute as far better what I executed in the last competition.
Excellent, Chef. Well, I want to congratulate you again for a job well done, and I will see you in Miami.
Craig, it's a pleasure to have you here today, and congratulations on winning, on being the bartender representative for St. Lucia on the National Culinary Team. I really look forward to working with you. I mean, tell me about your experience going into the Mai Tai competition, which won you the prize to get here.
Well, I always said, whatever you do it with your all and you do it with your best, because you never know who is watching. And luckily I did the Chairman's Spice competition last year at the Food and Rum Festival, and I failed miserably at it. And I actually heard one of the judges say that was a horrible presentation, and I got home 1-2 a.m. in the morning thinking about that. So coming into like the Mai Tai competition and in that statement, I wanted to try and prove everybody wrong. I said everybody in life is destined for a certain amount of greatness. So maybe this year is my year, next year might be, Aldrich's year or someone else here. So you just have to do with what you have right now.
Good, but you came out successful in that competition. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well, I felt great. I'm somebody, I'm outgoing. I always said the cocktail is great, but ultimately the cocktail doesn't decide if you win. So I said, yes, I have a great cocktail. I just need to put on a nice presentation. I have some more in store, but during my presentation week, in 2 weeks' time, I'll be showing you all what I have in mind. Believe me, it will be mind-blowing, something a little different. I just want the judges to interact with my cocktail. So when I leave the stage, the judges can actually interact with my cocktail. So you'll see a lot more from me.
Well, I'm definitely excited to see what you've got up your sleeve, Craig. In 2.5 weeks, we meet at Sanders Grand, where we're going to sample some of your signature cocktails and ultimately decide on which cocktails we're going to go to Miami with. It's a pleasure, Craig.
All right, thank you.
Excellent.
So, Danny Man, you're the man, huh? All right, so you made it on the B team. You came in second after, that is, you did the seafood, right? After Chef Ricardo. This is the first time competing at the SLHTA's competition. And I think this is the first time East Winds has participated in this competition. How do you feel about your success so far?
I think that I did wonderful. I did good. To me, I wanted to be on top as number one, and it's a good thing.
What would you say to other chefs like yourselves who thought about competing but did not compete? What advice would you give them come next year?
Don't be afraid. You have nothing to bite you. Every time you come and perform, or you're going to cook for somebody, you do the best of your ability. Make sure your flavors is there to satisfy whoever it is.
And tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you start off in the industry, and how long have you been working at East Winds, and so on?
I started off as a steward washing dishes, and in between, we do some mise en bouches. So then I step up to being a chef. I'm there working at East Winds for 16 years. 16 years. I started at 16 years. So it's 16 years I'm there. Yeah.
So you've been employed for 16 years from the time you were 16 years old. That's a very interesting one. Well, I want to congratulate you for stepping up to the plate and for showing the other chefs out there that there's nothing to fear. I mean, you come, you give it your best shot, and then it's possible that you can claim that place and you can win that competition. So I want to encourage you to continue practicing, continue training for the 2020 St. Lucia Culinary Team competition. Now that the 4-day competition has passed and we've now announced officially our 2019 Culinary Team of St. Lucia, how do you feel and what's your expectation moving forward?
Well, I'm very excited, to be quite honest. I mean, I think we saw a group of people that had all of the main basic skills and technique to become to form our culinary team. And all we have to do now is do a little training in the environment that we'll get when we go over to Miami, because as you know, it is very restricted in terms of space and equipment and so on. So we have to put them in that environment, and we have to ensure that they could be able to perform and to deliver at a very high level in that sort of environment. I think in terms of flavors, Caribbean identity, and some of basic chef skills, I don't think I have much work to do in those areas. I think what I would have to do a lot of work in is their performance in the kitchen. That kitchen etiquette and working in a kitchen and being tidy and being cost conscious and practicing proper hygiene and food safety practices and so on. I think that is where most of the work is going to come in. But I think we have a very strong team, and I'm happy for that.
So when you saw the competition and you saw the chefs cooking and they came out in full force, what do you think they would come up with?
Well, I knew what was going to happen is that everybody was going to step into that arena with a lot of egos, and I think most of them who stepped in came in very strong and confident. But I've been to competition and I know what happens, right? So, when they walked in, it was very sort of, I don't know how to describe it, but it was kind of a very momentous time to see all these chefs walking into the arena, and everybody thinking that they have the goal. And then when the work actually started, when the competition actually started, midway down to maybe the last quarter is when you start seeing people sweating, right? I mean, there was a point in time, it was so funny to see this chef who was actually trying to pour some sauce into a little pourer, and he just couldn't hold his hand straight to get the sauce into the pourer. Right? And this guy, when he walked in, you could see the confidence in his face. But what it showed is the competition itself had a lot of integrity, and I think they all felt it, because we had a very strong judging force on the floors, as well as our tasting, and we were there every second of the competition to monitor what you're doing, and I think that is something that they're not accustomed to. But we wanted to do that because we wanted to ensure that we could be able to see what were their shortcomings, and the only way to do that, we needed to make that judging criteria the way it was, and we needed to have the force on the floor to manage that. And I think that is part of what got them so nervous. But it is the form for you to use to be able to develop chefs and to get them to raise their standard and to become more professional at what they do. So
awesome. Well, Chef Skinner, a team manager for the St. Lucia Culinary Team 2019. Thank you very much, Chef. I'll see you in Miami.